Hey guys, how we doing? Video today. It's really on the SDOW, which is very interesting to me, just because of a huge channel break we're seeing. I'm a big fan of these long-term channels breaking. Usually signals a very strong trend change. So before I continue, it's not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. Past performance is not an indicator of future performance. I'm definitely not telling you, encouraging you to buy SDOW. SDOW is an ETF. It has, expense ratio associated with it. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk. All right. So I'm not trying to sell you guys on buying this. But I do want to point out the trend change in it because I think it does signify something we're seeing in the Dow Jones as well. So the Dow really lost this huge channel, right? And we've essentially lost this 10-year channel. We attempted to go parabolic, failed, had a head and shoulders pattern that looked like it was going to break up, and then we just saw this horrific dump. So now we're getting to the point where we're getting close to a retest, and with all the stimulus coming out and the way they're addressing the pandemic going on around the world, there seems to be at least a little hope that maybe there's a relief run, or there's a lot of speculation that this is very hyperinflationary, and we could see stock market go up, but it could be due to inflation, right? So we're seeing a lot of these talks, and I still heavily disagree with a lot of people who carry this sentiment now, because I think we're still at the point where we're in a red zone where we're not really out the clear yet for a bull market. I would have to see this 200 week recaptured, and then I would, want to see support before thinking about buying. So, in 2008, before we saw Bear Stearns fail, we saw us break below this 200 week, and then we retested it almost perfectly, and then we saw a massive sell-off. And I think that is setting up here sometime over the next few months. We are going to retest, and we will see a massive dump. I think it won't be really due to Corona, but perhaps it's more so due to the effects of Corona on the environment and the world economy. So we're getting close to this retest. I've talked about this in plenty of videos, don't want to go into it too much, but we've lost this channel. So we see a trend change here. Now this SDOW, you have to look at it from a logarithmic scale because it's 3x short versus the Dow. But what we saw, so I actually made a video on this, I want to say last week, when it was around 45, 46. You guys have my Twitter. I've also tweeted about this. But I talked about how we're seeing this huge channel and we're seeing a trend break, and now we're seeing a reverse, a nice retest, and it looks like a very successful retest, being that itself and holding support here. So what's next for SDOW? Well, I think it's going to be conquering this 200 week moving average, because as you see, this 200 week, it tested it perfectly and got rejected, and now it's testing this almost perfectly. The close is more important to me, but when you see a wick go right on the dot, that's pretty damn impressive. So we're seeing a very successful retest thus far, and it leads me to believe that eventually, we've been in this downtrend channel for 10 years now, since this ETF was created. By the way, it was worth $5,000 when it was first created. and it's just kind of choked its way down to 36. But now we're seeing a huge reversal looking pattern, and I think if we conquer this 200 week, we're already seeing this trend change. So it could be a consolidation for some time. Could be a consolidation and then start breaking up, or could just start going straight up. Really depends on the severity of this crash. But you know, we're seeing a lot of signals. The Dow Jones is retesting. Fundamentally, we're in one of the worst pandemics we'll ever see in our life. I think when we look back at this, this is going to be a time period for the history books. And you know, seeing the SDOW break this channel leads me to believe that this could be potentially very, very bearish for the Dow Jones. So really, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, you know, that's what we're seeing in the market. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'd be more than happy to hear what you have to say. But until next time, guys, take care, take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you next video.